Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, how are you today? We hope you are in good health. Back again with us group of 10 in Public Economics course. We are from Economic Education, Excellent Class 2019, Yogyakarta State University. On this occasion, we will discuss the profession of infrastructure. Previously, introduce the member of Group 10. Number 1, Shafa Malahayasari. Number 2, Utami. And number 3, Raina Satmika Dewani. Before we discuss further about infrastructure profession, we will present some issue related to infrastructure profession. Happy watching! After you watch the show, do you know what is infrastructure? If not, let's learn together about infrastructure. There are experts who express their opinions about infrastructure. Number 1, MenQ. According to MenQ, infrastructure is a form of public capital consisting of public roads, bridges, sewer system, and others as investment made by the government. Number 2, Neil Creek. According to Neil Creek, infrastructure is a physical system that provides drainage, irrigation, transportation, buildings, and other public facility needed to meet various basic human needs, both social and economic needs. So, it can be concluded, infrastructure is a physical system that includes roads, telecommunication, bridges, and so on, which are needed to meet basic human needs in the social and economic sphere.
What are the regulations for a profession of infrastructure? Based on the Presidential Regulation of the Republic of Indonesia number 67 of 25, Article 1, in Paragraph 3, concerning government cooperation with business entities in the provision of infrastructure. It contains that infrastructure provision is an activity that includes construction, work to build or improve infrastructure capabilities, and or infrastructure management and or maintenance activities. Infrastructure in order to increase the utilization of infrastructure.
What is the public policy in providing infrastructure? Let's find out in the next slide. Infrastructure has an important role in driving the economy. Indonesia, as an archipelagic country, has different connectivity challenges from other countries, especially since Indonesia is an archipelagic country. So, that the provision of infrastructure, especially roads, is very important. The next one is Indonesia applies the All Indonesian Trade Union Confederation or KSPI same on national and regional projects. People know it as government cooperation with business entities or kerjasama pemerintah dengan badan usaha, abbreviated KPBU. KSPI itself is actually part of a KPBU. And the last is KSPI is the utilization of state-owned goods or BMN through cooperation between the government and business entities for infrastructure provision activities in accordance with the provisions of laws and regulations in the field of government and business cooperation. KSPI is implemented in the event that there is a BNN that is the object of cooperation between the government and business entities in providing infrastructure. How to solve and fix infrastructure problems? Number 1 is improve cooperation between government agencies. One way to overcome infrastructure problems is to improve cooperation between government agencies. Every institution should have a sense of belonging to the country's infrastructure because everything will affect the development of the country. One of the ways is by coordinating the development and maintenance of infrastructure with related institutions, making joint decisions regarding the interests of the people with the consideration of each institution. Number 2 is invite community involvement. Infrastructure development is often seen as limited by the government's obligation to achieve national development goals. In fact, infrastructure development is also a fulfillment of the interests of the people. If the infrastructure development plan is well communicated to the community and the community is actively involved in it, there may be aspirations that can facilitate infrastructure development. Number 3 is improve development bureaucracy. The preparation of regulations and permits in carrying out infrastructure development is a complicated and lengthy matter due to the existing bureaucracy. This will result in difficulties in the country's development, especially related to infrastructure. Therefore, improving the government bureaucracy is seen as very important. This requires policies from the relevant institutions to be able to collect which bureaucratic points cannot be contested and which points can still be tolerated to be eliminated in certain projects. Number 4 is maintain existing infrastructure. One of the things that we often encounter in infrastructure problems is the lack of maintenance of the existing infrastructure. For example, damage to the highway due to carrying excessive road loads or damage to public buildings due to demonstrations. This kind of damage should have been prevented with a shared awareness that public infrastructure must be maintained and cared for. If the infrastructure is maintained, then the infrastructure can be used for the public interest longer, where this will be more efficient for state expenditures, which will lead to better economic policies in order to achieve the objectives of public policy in the economic sector. And the last is improve the design quality of infrastructure projects. One of the problems in the planning stage of infrastructure projects is the difficulty of getting participation from the private sector. The government actually expects private participation in the development of state infrastructure, especially in relation to project funding. This is because the government does not want to burden the state budget in terms of infrastructure development. However, it seems that the design of infrastructure projects is seen as less attractive to investors, so attracting funding from the private sector is considered quite difficult. Therefore, one way that can be done to overcome this infrastructure problem is to improve the design quality of infrastructure projects.
One example of damage to infrastructure. Okay, we already understand what infrastructure is, the causes of damaged infrastructure and their impact. This time we will discuss one example of damage to infrastructure that exists in the surrounding environment and can have a negative effect on the community. According to various sources and articles that we have summarized, one example of infrastructure damage is the damage to the highway on the Pantura Pemalang Road, Central Java in February 2021, 2 months ago. The causes is due to high intensity rainfall, flooding, and ground movement, causing many roads to be potholes and inundated with water along the northern coastline, causing many accidents, congestion, and disturbing road users.
Beralih ke berita lain, saudara, kerap diguyur hujan deras dengan intensitas tinggi mengakibatkan ruas jalur Pantura di Kota Tegal kondisinya rusak parah. Badan jalan dipenuhi lubang-lubang cukup lebar dan dalam. Kondisi ini dikeluhkan para pengguna jalan karena selain mengakibatkan kemacetan, lalu lintas juga kerap mengakibatkan kecelakaan lalu lintas.
Beginilah kondisi jalur Pantura di Jalan Dr. Wahidin Sudirohusodo, Kota Tegal, Senin sore yang rusak parah akibat tingginya intensitas hujan beberapa hari terakhir. Badan jalan selebar 8 meter dipenuhi lubang-lubang yang lebar dan dalam. Kondisi jalan yang berlubang cukup besar dan dalam ini, jika tergenang air hujan, sangat berbahaya bagi pengendara yang melintas.
Kondisi jalan Pantura Kalibungu rusak hampir di sepanjang jalan. Ada 3 titik rusak yang parah, yakni di pertigaan Sri Agung Cepiring, Truko, dan juga Kalibungu. Di sekitar perlintasan kereta ini seringkali terjadi pengendara yang jatuh terperosok.
Ya udah lama, kurang lebih ya 2 bulan lah. Selama musim penghujan ini. Karena saluran atau drainasenya nggak lancar.
Nggak ada apa nggak lancar, Pak?
Nggak lancar.
Nggak lancar.
Ya sebetulnya ada tapi nggak lancar karena masing-masing ini sering terjadi banjir.
Impact of damage to infrastructure. Impact of damage to infrastructure. Damaged roads along the north coastline, Pantura, Pemalang, Central Java have caused various kinds of impact that are felt by road users, such as prone to accidents, traffic jams. In addition, causing the vehicle to break or leak. Then, for public transportation, many lost time because they have to slow down to avoid potholes in order to avoid damage due to potholes to a depth of 20 until 50 centimeters. Road users must be extra careful and slow down the vehicle so as not to fall. The damage occurred almost evenly, starting from the border of Tegal City, with the northern coast of Brebes to the border of Pemalang Regency.
Sering kejadian kecelakaan motor lah yang sering, roda 2. Sering. Biasanya malam atau siang, Pak? Malam hari yang sering. Malam hari yang siang. Itu karena kena lubang ini berarti ya, Pak? Iya, lubangnya kan masuk gede-gede, jadi kebanyakan jatuh orangnya itu.
Selain rawan kemacetan dan kecelakaan, kondisi jalan yang rusak juga kerap mengakibatkan as kendaraan patah. Salah seorang sopir mikrobus jurusan Tegal Pemalang mengeluhkan kondisi jalan Pantura, Kota Tegal hingga perbatasan Pemalang yang saat ini kondisinya rusak parah. Banyaknya jalan berlubang membuat dirinya banyak kehilangan waktu karena harus berjalan melambat untuk menghindari lubang agar kendaraannya tidak mengalami kerusakan.
Jalan banyak berlubang, Pak. Kasihan para pengendara, terutama roda kecil. Banyak yang korban di belakang atas di area jalur Pantura.
Solution from news. Solution from news. The solution given is that there is no handling in a number of north coastlands. Local residents have started planting banana trees in a number of bottles. This is intended as a second, so that road users can be more careful when driving, especially at the night. In addition, from the local government, the police provide white lines or white markings so that road users can be more alert to the many damage and potholed roads.
Pohon pisang ini terpasang di Jalan Pantura, Desa Surakarta, Kecamatan Suranenggala, Kabupaten Cirebon, Selasa siang. Pemasangan pohon pisang ini dilakukan untuk menghindari kecelakaan yang disebabkan menghantam lubang jalan. Jalan ini hampir dipenuhi lubang.
Untuk mengantisipasi kecelakaan, polisi dari Polres Pemalang menandai jalan yang berlubang di Pantura, Petarukan hingga Comak. Penandaan ini dimaksudkan karena jalan yang rusak dan berlubang ini tidak terlihat pada malam hari, sehingga membahayakan pengguna jalan, terutama pengendara sepeda motor.
Kami harap para pengguna jalan agar hati-hati dan utamanya untuk pemerintah mohon segera untuk kerusakan jalan ini agar segera diperbaiki, jangan sampai timbul korban selanjutnya karena banyak aduan dari masyarakat terutama laka tunggal untuk sepeda motor.
Next, we will discuss about the relationship between news and article analysis and public economics on infrastructure provision. Relation to infrastructure provision is the highway is one of the public goods infrastructure that has a non-excludable nature, where no one can prohibit others from receiving benefits even when the person using it is unable or unwilling to pay for it. In addition, this item also has non-rival properties because the road can be used together without reducing the quantity that has been used by previous road users. But in the news, roads as public goods are damaged due to flood, inundation, and ground movement, which means the quantity of roads is decreasing. This has an impact on damage to vehicle parts and is dangerous for road users. Residents feel disadvantaged because of damaged roads. Damaged roads cause congestion so that vehicles accumulate and cause damage to vehicle parts, especially the North Coast road is mostly passed by large vehicles.
Solution from the group regarding the case of damaged Pantura roads. First, let's watch the following video. According to our group, the solutions that have been taken by the government to overcome the damage on the Pantura roads are good and appropriate. However, the government should review road repairs more so that they can be carried out efficiently. The government should also understand and implement the context of the law or regulation on road improvement. In accordance with Law Number 22 of 2009, Article 24 concerning road traffic and transportation as follows. Number 1. Road operators are obligated to immediately and properly repair damaged roads which may result in traffic accidents. Number 2. If it is not possible to repair the damaged road as referred to in point 1, the road operator is obligated to give sign on the damaged road to prevent the occurrence of traffic accidents. The government's obligation as road operator are as stated in Article 238, Law Number 22 of 2009 concerning road traffic and transportation as follows. The government shall provide and improve the traffic arrangement, facilities and infrastructure that are the cause of accidents. The government shall provide an allocation of funds for the prevention and handling of traffic accidents. 7 policies and instruction for emergency handling of road damage on national roads. Number 1. The head of National Road Implementation Center must be able to ensure that all national roads that are his responsibility do not experience damage that can endanger public safety and even result in the cessation of public service activities. Number 2. The head of the HAL are instructed to immediately take care of the damage by means of self-management, direct appointment and streamlining of road preservation scheme for long segment packages. Number 3. Funds for routine road maintenance are allocated within the work unit by taking from the routine maintenance funds that are already available, the remaining funds from the action and others. Number 4. In the implementation of road preservation with a long segment contract model, it is priorities for the implementation of routine maintenance. Number 5. For the handling of urgent national road emergency, the heads of HAL are asked to optimize the budget execution list for the 2017 fiscal year. The 6th. Emergency handling during the rainy season will be temporary. Permanent repairs are carried out in more conducive climate conditions. And the last, for routine implementation using long segment contract, it is carried out by utilizing human resources who have been involved in previous self-management work. To optimize the handling of road damage, the government has also created an application to facilitate data collection on which roads are damaged. For example, Jalan Cantik application launched by the Central Java government. The Department of Public Works of Higuai and Human Settlements of Central Java Province launched an application for handling damaged road problem called the Jalan Cantik application. Through this application, Central Java has strengthened itself in the success of the Central Java program without holes. With this application, reporting and follow-up related to damaged road in Central Java will be faster. Jalan Cantik application was launched to improve service to the community, especially related to road repairs throughout Central Java.
From the material and news that has been discussed previously, we can find out what infrastructure is and its provision, especially after seeing examples of infrastructure problems, especially inadequate roads around us, and to overcome the problems that arise with the provision of this infrastructure can be done in various ways and prevention so that the provision of infrastructure can be used by the community safely and comfortably without interruption.